It's time for the Steve and Kyle podcast with Steve.
So I feel like I've kind of grown up with a lot of these people.
Sure.
And I see them. It's people who are just like, hey, pretty effing nice to be back, huh? Pretty nice to be back. I mean, this doesn't, it can't get any better than this.
Don't you miss it? Don't you?
I'm like, I mean, it's nice to be back. It's good to see people. But I like where I'm at now. And they almost take that as an insult. Like, now you think you're better than us, huh? It's like, I'm damned if I do, I'm damned if I don't.
And Kyle.
At this point, just lying. Like, yeah, we're looking at getting a vacation house out here.
Yeah, we're looking at
Right
moving to Long Beach Island.
Yeah, right on the shore. Found a nice spot up at Weehawken, and we're
Yeah, right on the shore in Weehawken.
hey, we're looking. We're talking to the finance guy. We're talking to my guy.
Yeah.
We're gonna pull some shares.
Now, here they are, two guys who are living in style, Steve and Kyle.
Is there any further talk of return to the homestead this year yet?
Oh, the beach house in Weehawken?
The beach house in Weehawken down the shore. Last year you took the daddy-daughter weekend.
Was that last year?
Where it was just you and Evelyn.
I think that might have been the year before.
Was it?
Yeah, because it was right after Nikki was born. I had to get the hell out of here.
I'll post it on the poll. You got to get the hell out of there when a new kid's born.
You know what it's like.
Of course I do. Are you... But is that... You had mentioned something before the summer. Mm-hmm. Is that still something in the cards? Or are you kind of sidetracked with all of the other goings-on of your life? That
was in the plans, but then I don't think it's going to work out time-wise because when I have time off, Evelyn's already back to school. Okay. So she's going to be back to school late August. So I don't think we're going to be able to make it work.
I mean, if you think about it, and this is not meant to disparage Evelyn's education or just education in general.
Of course
but
not.
What are they really missing at this age if you were to pull her out of school for 1 or 2 days?
Hey, did you forget the letter R over summer vacation?
Right. Or block building 101. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
and we're talking pre-K.
Oh, sure. Right. I'm pulling Reed out for a full week.
Yeah?
Where are
you taking him?
God, it might actually be his first full week of school. I'm just pulling him out for all of it.
What are you doing?
We're going to Disney. That's the big Disney
of course.
Trip that we're doing the week after Memorial.
These kids are going to learn more in the real world. You're basically taking them to the school of hard knocks.
Honestly.
SOHK, obviously, right. as it's referred to.
He is going to learn the ways of the world through the eyes of Winnie the Pooh.
He is going to learn more than he could ever imagine about finance, being ripped off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, he doesn't care.
No,
he is well aware that it is not his money, and he still wants it. He does not care. What he sees, he wants.
Good for him.
Here's what I'm a little bit... I shouldn't say nervous about this. The big Disney trip that I've been planning for quite a while now. Like, honestly, this has been in the cards for...
A couple of years, right? Year or two?
Quite a while. Yeah. We knew that based on just generally what we do in regards to tax returns, which is usually since we've had our house since 2014, we've been kind of yearly, somewhat decent sized projects around the house.
Yeah.
Redid the bathroom one year, got all new appliances one year, rebuilt the deck one year, etc. Carpet, whatever. Mm-hmm. But knowing that
the garage door project, obviously.
Garage door project.
Come on, man. You can't let that fade into the past.
Knowing that we are considering moving. Initially, our thoughts were to look into moving this year, but based on just general goings on with the housing market.
Okay. Got some leads on some places.
Is it the one right there?
Yeah, the one with the for sale sign. Yeah. Priced lower than
you thought.
Lower than what we thought.
But like you said, that family, which again is now getting divorced, and being crushed and broken apart.
Yeah.
Children, loved ones just being destroyed. But you got to get that money. It doesn't seem like they even had enough time at that house to do the upgrades from the former woman who died
Yeah.
So that it would
Died
seem...
in the church parking lot.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Boy, you are breaking news right now. I did not know that.
Yeah.
So not in the house, though. But no. If you had to pick where you would haunt, you're not going to pick the church parking lot.
No.
You're going to pick the homestead.
Is it weird to think that hauntings... side tangent.
Total side tangent.
Hauntings, to me, need to happen indoors.
You don't want to be an outdoor haunter.
It's rough to have an outdoor haunting.
Or what about an outdoor hauntee? Like every time I go get the mail, this effing poltergeist is causing all the ruckus.
Right.
Every time I go to the mailbox, the flag's up, the door's open, doesn't matter the time of day, because of the GD poltergeist who won't leave me alone.
But see, I just, being a hauntee myself, I don't think that I would be haunted by an outdoor spirit.
It would be more of an irritant than anything.
I'd be walking to the mailbox and be like, oh, you again. You
would have that eye roll when everybody... every time someone asks you, like, oh, why can't you park your car in the driveway? Oh boy, here we go again. Now I have to explain that every time my gas cap door is slightly ajar because of the poltergeist in my driveway.
Yeah, maybe put this on the poll. Is an outdoor haunting more of just an inconvenience?
You're right, though, because inside it's your dojo.
Exactly. I'm at peace in here. I'm comfortable in here.
What is, if you had to pick your most preferred and least preferred room in the house
to be haunted,
which would you pick?
Least preferred would be the bedroom.
Sure.
Because that's
you're sleeping.
It's the relaxation station. Most preferred, I guess it would...
much different than when you were in your 20s and lived, and it was the bone zone.
Right, yeah, totally different. I would say probably the laundry room. Mm-hmm. Nobody wants to be in there anyway, you know?
Right. So if you have a separate laundry room, which obviously you do here at the estate.
Yeah.
That is, I think you're right.
It is big too. I think it's 5 feet wide.
Yeah, and just to show how big it was, if I remember it, when you guys bought, you said, I'm going to, just to show this off, I'm going to put the dryer on one side.
Yeah.
And the washer on the other.
Yeah.
So that way when I need to transfer laundry, I'm getting my workout in as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, either that or I'm throwing stuff like a football pass from one end to the other.
Wrapping up clothes into balls and, testing out the arm.
Yeah.
I think bathroom in my head, I thought bathroom, but then I'm like, no, I don't want to be showering, trying to get into a zen, right?
Yeah,
and then
stupid reply to say bathroom.
And then have shampoo pouring down from the container. Right?
Right.
I don't know why these hauntings in my head aren't actually hurting me.
That's how they would haunt you. They'd just help you wash your hair.
Darn you, Razgoo the demon.
Was that Razgoo?
Yeah, Razgoo. He's Italian.
Okay. So in your world, your house is haunted by Razgoo the Italian demon.
Shampooing my hair.
Got it. So it's just a minor inconvenience, a little bit of an insult too, because of, the whole hair situation.
Oh, obviously. Yeah, at this point, he's Italian laughing at me.
Right. Well, and if he's Italian, he's got long, flowing, dark locks.
No question. Yeah. With chest hair, demon chest hair, but chest hair nonetheless, from his navel popping up to... There's no part from his navel to his nose without hair.
This is Razgoo.
This is Razgoo, the Italian demon, who haunts me by shampooing me.
Okay.
Basement storage room, second least offensive, right? Or does that kind of bring back childhood kind of
a little
fear
bit?
Of those?
I'm getting kind of Home Alone feels from that. Remember whenever Kevin would go down? Yeah, Kevin would go down in the basement.
Boy, I do like to now. Listen, I'm a person who believes in ghosts. We've talked about our not conspiracies, but the stuff we believe in that people might consider fringe or dumb. And you and I are fully on board with UFOs.
Yep.
Obviously, JFK wasn't shot by Lee Harvey Oswald. He was just part of a big cover-up. And
Well, I think
had a bad day at
LHO had something to do with it.
at the book boxing and was just the scapegoat for that. I'm fully on board with ghosts.
Yeah.
So it helps
Ghosts are real.
me to think about them as just harmless, not being able to do anything, like expending all of their energy at night to, again, slightly open your gas cap. Or putting your mailbox flag up to the point where the mailman has to leave you a notice saying, please stop leaving your flag up if there's no actual mail.
Now, I think the outlier to this whole theory about how outdoor places cannot be haunted, the obvious outlier is the graveyard.
In the woods. For some reason, I feel like the woods are all haunted.
Okay, so the woods and the graveyard.
Yeah. But the roadways, your highways and byways.
No.
No.
Although I do kind of like those, have you been to Gravity Hill? Or if you put your car in neutral at the bottom of the hill and sprinkle baby powder on your back bumper, the ghosts of like demon babies will push you up the hill.
Right. That is,
and you'll see their fingerprints.
That is not a Razgoo haunting. That's a legitimate murder people haunting you, right?
Yeah, Razgoo, he is not aligned with them at all. He is not okay with that.
Again, Razgoo's power starts and stops at the shampoo bottle. I mean, there's got to be some ghosts. You know that if you stop at one of the dozens of uniform rest stops on the Jersey Turnpike, right? Which they're all the big gray buildings. You pull off so you don't have to get off the turnpike and repay to get on. You know that
pay $32 for your Burger King.
That's right. You know that there's some workers there. Like, oh yeah. Oh no, this one's haunted. Mm-hmm. And if you're a ghost, just send me to hell rather than haunt a rest stop on the turnpike.
Boy, that would be a bummer. It would be one thing if you were a ghost at a really fancy old hotel.
Right.
Because then you get to live a pretty sweet life. Living in a nice room. Maybe they got a pool. Get to go downstairs and raid the kitchen fridge in the middle of the night. But yeah, if I'm a ghost at a rest stop, that would just suck.
Yeah, Oof.
Who do you think determines the rank and file of where you get to haunt when you're a ghost? Is it simply based on where you died?
That would be my interpretation.
Or do they send you out? Is it like a mission trip?
But then if you think about that, the hospital would just be literally overflowed with ghosts, right? And that can't be true.
No, that's absolutely true.
You think that's true?
Yeah. Go to the morgue. They're all down there.
I could see a morgue being a haunt.
Sure.
And I posted in the poll, what's a worse ghost state? Haunting a rest stop or hell? Mm-hmm. I'm glad we're able to dig into this. Have you ever thought in your life...
How did we get to this, by the way?
Oh, we're talking about Disney World.
Of course.
Have you ever thought that you were near a haunting?
Yes.
Or being... You have?
Yes.
I love it.
This was back when I first moved into my old house. And I woke up. I was in bed. I was having a dream. And in the dream, something was pulling me out of bed.
Okay. Ooh.
And I swear to God, I woke up half hanging off the bed, feeling like something was still pulling on my arm. And it just thinking about it gives me goosebumps.
The physical feeling creepy. Of actually being moved.
It was very creepy.
Raises the hair on my arms a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Oh,
yeah.
I do.
What about you?
Yes. Yeah. I not personally haunted, but fascinated with ghosts and stuff like that. Been around plenty of situations where feel like things being thrown.
Okay.
Rocks in general direction that are unexplained. Just, whew.
Tell me more. Where did you get rocks thrown at you?
Is that a cemetery?
Oh, okay. Well, it fits in.
Right.
Obviously.
Obviously, it's overloaded with haunted. Well, no, here's the thing. If you think about it, the cemetery should be the least haunted place on the planet.
Nobody dies in the cemetery.
Right. You're just transported there.
Unless the people that are buried there, maybe still got a little life left in them.
Oh, so you're thinking a buried alive situation.
Yeah. Is there a worse thing? Is there a worse, like absolute, the biggest nightmare to be buried alive?
Like wake up, hear the dirt hitting on top of you.
No. You don't even hear the dirt. You wake up after they have filled the thing. Like they've already put down grass seed on the dirt up top. You hear nothing. It is eerily quiet. Doesn't matter how loud you scream. No one's going to hear you through 6 feet of dirt in a concrete tomb.
Boy, this got really sad. Because I was just thinking in my head, like, oh, no, there's got to be a way out. And I'm running through these scenarios in my head. And there's no way out.
No.
And not only is there no way out, Steve, but unless someone came and buried you with, your favorite butcher knife, there's no way to even end it quickly.
No. Oh, that would be terrible, too. To have to stab yourself. Boy, this did get dark. So back to Disney World.
Yeah, let's lighten the mood up. So your divorced neighbors are hitting the road. Now, last week, this was big news in the Zach.
Yeah.
And to the point where I walked in and you could barely avert your gaze.
I was bubbling.
From the phone because you were checking if there were viewings, if it showed pending yet.
I believe they're called showings. I think viewings is when
would be for the cemetery.
When someone is dead.
The funeral home, yeah.
Some call them wakes.
Well,
some call them viewings.
The marriage is dead, so I guess it kind of applies.
Yes.
Can a marriage pump the 5-gallon bucket?
I mean, that's one for the listeners to answer.
But so has there been updates? Have you been checking in with the soon to be divorced about if there's been a lot of traction, or are you kind of leaving it to your own internet snooping to find out?
I've been checking in with Zillow on a regular basis.
Okay.
And so the sign was up in the yard for probably 4 or 5 days before it popped up on all of the for sale websites.
Well, it's too long for a nosy mind like yourself, too.
I know.
That's way too long.
I was checking like every hour on the hour.
Did you consider going over
refresh,
there? Knocking?
Refresh. Like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah. What are you looking to get out of this puppy? As you're kind of looking over their shoulder to see what it looks like inside.
Yeah. You mind if I take a step around here?
Take a little walk for you? You don't have any like cookies or snacks out, do you?
So, and then one day last week, I got a random text from Justin across the street with a link to Zillow, and he said, "It's up." Clicked on the link. I was like, "Oh boy, they priced it very competitively." Okay. All right, we'll see how this goes. By the next day, it said pending. So there was one night.
Boy, that almost feels like it was sold off market almost.
I don't think it was, though, because we were kids were playing out front one day last week, and the neighbor actually walked over, the one who's selling, and she said, "Yeah, we have 3 showings tonight." Okay. And then, sure enough, an hour later, there were like 8 cars in front of the house, and we were still sitting out front. And I said to Annette, I was like, "That couple right there, they're buying the place." Because you saw a couple people, they go in, they walk around the house, they go inside, they come back out, and you can just tell by body language. Like the husband and wife each got in their car, the realtor got in their car, and it was like "All right, see you later, thanks." And then they drove away. And then it happened again. Another couple came out. "All right, thanks for meeting us here." They drove away. But then there was the third couple that came out, and they stood in the driveway for like 10 minutes. And they kept kind of doing like, you could tell they're turning and looking at the house and looking at stuff on their phone. And then,
well, they were looking at, can the former resident who died at 90 still haunt the house if I buy it?
Right.
And will the spirits of the divorced ghosts stay here as well?
Common thing to do.
No question.
And I said to Annette, I was like, they're going to buy this house. It just seemed like they were doing the whole talk with the realtor. Like, okay, well, I'll get all the paperwork over and you sign this and we'll sign that.
One guy pulling out his wallet, seeing how many 20s he had if he couldn't
grease the skids a bit. And then Annette talked to her yesterday because, again, all the kids, there was like 8 kids out in the cul-de-sac all playing together.
So in the more than 5, apologies. How many years you been here?
Yes, 7. Almost
How many
7.
times had you had kind of direct communication with either the husband or wife at this house?
Husband, probably 4.
Okay, more than I thought.
The wife, more. She was much more like, much more friendly and open.
Right, okay.
Oh, wait, no, they've only been here 4 years. We've been here 7.
Okay. But you talked to them a handful of times?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't seem super strange now that there would be interactions like twice in a 3-week time period.
No, I think that it's helped out by the fact that all of our kids are now roughly the same age where they're actually starting to play with each other.
Right.
So there's more of a reason for the parents to kind of interact.
Has Evelyn come inside and asked why she can't have 2 Christmases now?
No. No, she hasn't.
A few weeks before they move, so,
Yeah, so we got new neighbors coming into the Zach. And it's exciting.
Just you and me.
Boy, is it exciting.
Just you and me.
Yeah.
Here, so, no judgment. Yeah. Were you kind of basing the people coming through? Were you kind of formulating your own wish list of like?
Of course.
Well, they're driving. It looks like a 2012 Civic. So they're on the list, but they're not going to be at the top of the list.
Get that riffraff out of my neighborhood.
But then you see the next come through, and it's 2023 Chrysler minivan, and you're like, okay, all right, family oriented. I like it.
Yeah, I like this.
So it's like Goldilocks and the 3 Bears, right?
Right.
Yeah. And then the last one comes in.
And just right. Yeah, they got
that's a mid-size.
They got a 2022 Accord.
It's like a nice, perfect family size.
Yeah.
Right? And you're like, just right.
Yep.
So did you have your own personal wish list of the people that you were no doubt staring out the top of your front door, seeing who was coming through and when?
Front door, I was standing on the front lawn, just looking at them.
Cup of tea, waving. All the people coming through.
I'm a teaman.
Got your sign out, please talk to me.
It's tea o'clock somewhere. You know what I mean?
Immediately get back in the car, take off to the realtor.
Nope.
Never bring them this area again.
Yeah.
But you think you know which one's bought it.
I think so.
Okay. Did you ask for contact information yet to get a real head start on this new friendship?
I did not. No. There's look, I'm taking a back seat to this. As much as I want to take the lead on this and start organizing the end of summer new neighbor mixer.
Right.
So it's a bit early for that.
So the new neighbor mixer would be the one?
Kyle, I got some more breaking news. The neighbors directly next to us. The pool neighbors.
Okay, the one that you just damaged the property.
Yeah.
Okay,
my tree fell through their
We
shed.
got to get an update on that, by the way, next week. Don't have time today.
They're also leaving.
You have brought death and the desire to move away.
I'm coming around. I don't think people like me.
This will now be the 3rd owner of the house directly next to you
No.
since you've moved here.
No. Well,
There was an older gentleman who ran off with the widow who was on the other side of you.
No.
And now this family, which
here's
sees
where-
you and says, not another day.
Here's where it gets complicated.
Okay. Because it seems like there's, from an outsider, it doesn't seem, it seems like there's one person who moved in and everybody else is dispersed.
They're moving out, but they're not selling.
Okay. Great. Boy, good news for you. Can't wait for your new short-term tenants.
They're going to Airbnb it. Exactly the face I had.
What? Here?
When you think Airbnb, at least when I think Airbnb, I think cool condo downtown or, place on a lake or something where people are coming for 3 days, long weekend, maybe a week for vacation, because it's in the middle of everything. You don't really think this neighborhood.
You don't think this city.
Now, granted, there are long-term Airbnbs. You can do a 6-month Airbnb.
Sure.
But again,
and a lot of people are doing that that's mostly, in what I've seen, or what I would think would be work-related things.
Work-related,
right? I'm on a contract, so I'm going to be in this area for 9 months.
One of my coworkers Airbnbs her house when she's out of town. And she said, she's like, oh, yeah, my house with the location, if I opened it up and had availability every day, it would be booked every day. Totally possible. But she's also close to a downtown area.
Right, close to a city.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Like, I mean, we got a family fair that's close.
Yeah. Do you need groceries? We
need a church? Got a bunch of them.
The main takeaway here is that they're so desperate to get away from you, they don't even want to take the time to sell.
It's that's one way to look at it, I guess.
How many more can Steve kill or force to move away before somebody does something?
Kyle, it says here on our little prep sheet that we have, that looks like I'm not the only one with a lot of goings on in the neighborhood.
Honestly, could not anticipate multiple neighborhood conversations this week.
By the way, if you want a good deal on an Airbnb, I might be able to get. You guys want a pool?
Do I want to move?
And then, then you can Airbnb your house.
That's right. So it's the Airbnb train.
Yeah,
we just
it's a pyramid scheme.
It's a round robin. Yes, and I'll use the profits from my Airbnb to pay the new Airbnb that I'm living in.
Yeah,
boy.
So if you're interested, I can get you in touch.
This just seems like a profit situation.
Sure.
Yeah, you are in what I would love, which is people moving away, and we never have to have really any personal interaction. I'd love that. That would be I love that. And
now, I know that you've had an ongoing feud with the one neighbor. So if you're looking at your house from the street, the neighbor to the left, that's the one who threatened physical violence.
Right. So yeah, we've had to call the police to do a very, very brief rundown on my situation with all my neighbors. From my home directly to the right, I had to call the police on once, and they are not good people and just dirtbags. To the left of my home are the family who has made my son cry multiple times over the years because it seems to be a directive to not allow their children to play with Reed.
Okay.
But instead they just stand at the property line and will stare at Reed.
Got it.
And when he's playing, not a fan of them.
If you need a good cul-de-sac with lots of kids who are willing to play.
Don't want that. Okay. You need to understand that what I have manufactured on my street is near perfect stasis of what I want, which is to be
zero interaction.
I just want to be left alone. That's all I've ever wanted. It seems like the neighbors behind us that have what we refer to as the concrete jungle, no communication there anymore. That's been probably 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
Perfect. Couldn't want anything less or more. So there is the one family across the street we refer to as D-Dot. That's divorced dad of 2. Fine. I'll wave to him.
Wow.
We have wave communications, I would say once every 10 days. Perfect. Okay? I don't want it to be more frequent than that.
Okay.
And I feel like if it got less frequent than that, one of us would feel like, well, we haven't done that in a while, so we shouldn't do it now.
So
once every week and a half, flawless.
Perfect. Okay.
I time
so if 30, 35, 36 times a year.
I time, if I'm going to go get the mail or bring up the trash can or put out the trash can to make sure nobody's outside. Okay? I don't want to have any chance encounter at the end of the driveway where I have to have a weird conversation 2 car widths away, across this suburban street. No, thank you.
Yeah.
So a couple of years ago, I noticed, and we're not going to dig into the political minutia because that's typically just not what we do. But there is an organization in the township and county that you and I both live in that really kind of took over local politics as we know it, and they are basing their entire philosophy on ideals that I wouldn't align with.
That would be the impact, right?
Would be, yes.
The big old impact.
And we found out, based on a sign, that one of the people in this house is a member, an active member, and now an elected official with this organization.
Okay.
On the school board.
Good.
So fast forward, there is now quite a upheaval to remove this group of people, which in this county, if you were to look at the demographics of this county for the majority of people who don't know the area I'm talking about, it is heavy, heavy, heavy red. And it will vote Republican overwhelmingly in every election cycle.
No matter what.
Top to bottom. It is incredibly rare that you won't. But now they have Republican infighting to the point where there are Republican candidates who aren't part of
the impact.
Yeah. That are saying, hey, they're being they're pretty terrible. So the across the street has made their stand. Okay? And I'm trying to figure out a way to ask your opinion on this without getting a specific number. In terms of signage in your yard, Steve.
Okay.
If you were to decide tomorrow to support a political candidate or a political party, whatever, what is the number you would say shows your support firmly, confidently, and appropriately?
Number of signs?
Number of signs.
Probably 1.
Okay. So you're thinking maybe just support the party or one candidate that you feel like is best, right?
Well, I mean, and then in that case, you can just do a all-encompassing one.
Sure. It was...
Because if you put one particular one in your yard, everybody knows where you're...
Right.
How you're voting all the way down the ticket.
Let me briefly rewind to about 2 years ago, probably, after they took prominence and after this became... And I'm not saying this flippantly. This became a national news story. Yeah. There are stories about this organization in the Washington Post, the New York Times, about this small county in West Michigan.
Yeah, it's kind of embarrassing.
It's not a good look.
No.
So the first sign was the letters OI with a heart around it. Okay. To the point where a couple of weeks later, I joined some groups to get myself a sign that had the letters OI with a circle and a line through it.
Okay. So this is direct.
And put it on the side of my lawn that directly faces their house.
Okay.
Because our house is across the street. They're kind of offset, right?
I got to tell you, I love it so far.
So now we're back to the current timeline where over the past 30 days, we have seen the Heart OI grow to 1 political candidate, 2 political candidates, 3 political candidates.
Oh, wow. Okay.
4 political candidates.
I see where this is going.
5 political candidates. 6. 7.
Oh. 8.
All the way up to last night, where they added their 10th political candidate endorsement in their front lawn.
So,
in addition to the Heart OI, for a total of 11 signs. I took a picture of it. I'm not going to post it. Don't want any giveaways about location of 1, my house, and 2, I don't want to be... Members of that organization are just crazy enough that if that came across their timeline, I'd be accused of doxing, whatever. I just don't want to, I'm not going to welcome that. 11 signs. I texted it to my dad this morning and I said, it looks like the front line of a Civil War battle. Because it's probably 20 feet across, straight of these 11 signs.
Mm-hmm. Looks good, too.
So my question to you, Steve.
Yeah.
I'm obviously being overwhelmed at this point.
Yeah.
We've gotten to the point now where there's no waves. I look away. Mm-hmm. I don't have any desire to interact with these people. The person who lives in that house who's on the school board and was endorsed by this committee is on the record at some of these meetings, which are open public meetings, comparing the way the way the impact has been treated to that of the Nazis.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So, just not good people. I don't want to interact. So, I am comfortable with this idea, and I want to see where you land. Mm-hmm. I think I want to start and engage in a Cold War with my neighbors. Oh, boy. And a Cold War meaning...
missiles aimed at them?
Build nuclear weaponry in my basement. I want to now build up my arms in terms of signage and overload my side of the lawn.
Okay, so if they got 10, you're going 11.
I have to find 11.
Well, I mean, you can make your own.
Right.
Like, so you can have... it seems like nowadays, whenever you see the videos from protests going on somewhere, there'll be somebody holding up a sign that says whatever their point of view is, and there's always a guy standing next to him holding up a sign that says F this guy with an arrow pointing to him.
Now, Katie had a lovely idea on her ballot, because we got absentee ballots for the primary, and the school board member is also now on the ballot for a position. I forget the title, but it's one of those where there's 4 candidates and it says don't vote for more than 6. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't matter. I didn't even vote in that section simply because it doesn't matter. They're all going to make it.
Yeah.
Katie had the idea to vote for the other 3 just as a mini middle finger and not this person. I have the idea to maybe get signage for those other 3 and not the person who lives there.
Okay. I like that.
But let me ask you, multitude of options here. Do I simply go and overload with as many signs as I can procure of other candidates directly opposed to them and just bomb that direction of my yard?
All right.
Or do I call up whoever I need to call up and see if I can get one of those billboard size ones that need to be like hammered in with on a ladder because it's so tall?
We got a billboard man.
Using the Joe,
the billboard man.
And maybe it was John. And you need to climb on a ladder, and it's those like green metal rebar almost, and then hammer that in, and just do one of those, and then accent it with additional signs.
I like that. I like that idea. I think the bigger the better. It's going to make cutting your grass a little inconvenient for the next few months, but that's okay.
That side of my lawn, it's the small side, right? Yeah. So it's an offset driveway to where there's probably it's probably 12 feet wide.
Okay.
That whole side, and just a strip from the end of the driveway up to the garage.
Do it.
Or do I leave direct politics out of it and just get as many signs saying, science is real, and
so these are people that don't they probably think the dinosaur bones were put there by Satan,
and that books need to be burned and removed from libraries. They're open about that,
right?
It's
except for their books,
correct? The good book. Of those options, which do you think? Now, I have Katie's.
Ooh.
Normally, you wouldn't expect this out of me. I asked Katie first. Said, would you be okay if I considered this just to spite these people?
Yeah, I think that you got to do it. You got to do it in a tactful way, because I was driving around the other day, and in our town, I noticed somebody that had a sign. Apparently, they're not a fan of the president. And it was they have a big flagpole in their front yard with a big flag that is probably 6 to 8 feet wide, 3 to 4 feet tall, and it says F Biden, but the whole word spelled out. And look, if you're not a fan of the president, that's perfectly fine. But putting up that flag just makes me think you're a trashy person if you would advertise that in your front yard. It just seems like you're kind of a piece of garbage. So I would steer you away from going the vulgarity route.
Right. Which wasn't really in the cards. I don't need to. Reed can understand words and letters now and put them together. So I don't want to have to even have a conversation about if there were.
Yeah.
Because we had a guy, an older gentleman moved away last year or 2 years ago and has a full-size flagpole in his yard and had one of that exact same flag, F. Joe Biden, and someone from the township had come by like the next day and it was never up again.
Yeah.
So I would guess that is against
I don't
Ordinance
know,
Township
this
Code.
house that I saw is not far from your house.
Yeah, and someone would just need to call and say, hey, there's kids here, right? And I think that is against whatever code. So,
because I'm sure that the person that put that flag up is probably very concerned with the kids.
Right.
It's a weird hypocrisy there.
My realistic options at this point are as follows, and I will let you assist me.
Give me the options.
Like I talked about, get as many opposing candidate signs as possible to match the house across the street. Number 2, get as many no OI signs as possible and do the exact same thing and put them all, like just pile them on that side facing them as well.
Yeah.
Those are the two most realistic. Realistically, I'm not getting one of those, 8 by 12s and hammering it into my lawn.
Right.
The primary election is in August, so I have a little bit of time. Of those two options, which do you think? They're both obvious. They're both impossible to take as the neighbors these are aimed at. Impossible to take as any other thing than we disagree with you.
I like the just multitude of no OI signs.
You think so?
I think so, because that really, really lets them know.
Yeah.
If there's multiple of the same sign, say you got a dozen of them.
I'll say this for the singular no OI sign that I have. It is impossible for them to take it as anything other than an FU to them.
Yeah.
Based on the side of the lawn I put this in. I have the main, front yard, however many square feet you'd like to estimate a standard front yard as being, right? Mm-hmm. And then I have, again, this tiny sliver that directly faces their house, and that's where I put it. That one sign, they know what it means, right? They know why it's facing there.
Yeah.
So now it's just time, again, 1960s U.S. versus the USSR.
Yeah.
Comfortable calling myself the U.S. in this situation.
Yeah.
Arms race. And you're thinking...
I mean, they view you as the USSR.
No question they do. Yeah. No question. And that sounds accurate. I'm definitely the one who wants books thrown out. And...
yeah, it's weird. Weird how that...
I think... Okay, that's the goal then. I agree with you. I think
How much are these signs?
Free. Oh, they're free. There's a chat. I'm still a member of the group. I had to silence the chat with all these individual chat groups in there about if you need one of these signs, because I'd been looking for a different sign that public health. I think it's something along the lines of public health is health. Something because they've also tried to fire the public health administrator and hire a guy who was mopping floors at a factory because apparently the local health administrator had something to do with the COVID vaccine. That's where we are.
Our local...
Yes.
Really?
That's where we are in this area.
Got it.
So,
got it.
All
right. I think you get 30 signs.
You think 30? I'm going to rejoin this chat and
in the middle of the night, you walk down and you put one in front of every single house.
So the whole road?
Yeah.
Because what I was thinking...
you'll find out real quick who's on your side.
Oh, no question. No question. Whether those... Yeah.
Whether they come down first thing in the morning or
right. Not. Okay. I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to do it.
Do it.
I'll have an update for you next week about where I am.
I can't wait.
In my goal to get as many OI no OI signs as physically possible to get in my lawn.
Yeah.
I'm glad you support it. Normally this is where I feel like you would shy away.
No, I think this needs to be done.
Let me ask you, because at your house, I don't know if it's still out there. Maybe you lost support for the cause. You had the sign in your yard for many years of science is real, love is love, et cetera, et cetera. One of those.
The only reason that came down is because it was completely buried by snow and like bent in half.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So
if tomorrow someone across the street or someone in the ZAC put up a keep boys out of girls sports, the pandemic ruined you, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Would you ignore, move on? You're non-confrontational in general.
Non-confrontational.
Unless you want to put up an antenna on a Sunday.
Right. I think it's going to depend on what my interactions have been with that person so far.
Sure.
If I've had negative interactions with them, which luckily I haven't, based on anyone that lives here, I'm probably not going to do anything.
You want one of these 30 that I'm going to try to procure?
I may take one or two.
License? Okay. Yeah. I'm glad to get you on board. Because I feel like a net would probably kind of give you an eye roll if you said something like I did, which is, hey, 11 political candidate signs across the street for people who hate other people is a bit much, and I disagree. Annette would say, okay, let's just disagree.
Yeah, she would. She doesn't want to rock the boat. And I don't really want to rock the boat either. Well, I'm planning on living here for a while. Like, you kind of...
You're the only one, by the way. I think everybody else does not want to live here a while because they keep dying or moving.
Right. Look, I found my spot.
Everybody else reacts.
You do what you need to do. But yeah, the fact that you guys are only planning on being there for a short amount of time, too, that kind of... That ups my support for you.
I've also
if you had said to me, look, we just moved into our dream house and we want to live here until we're retired and then we're moving to Florida or something.
Right.
I would say, you may want to back off on the attack, on the Cold War.
Really?
Yeah. But I think the fact that you're looking to get out of here soon, hell yeah.
I've also never cared. Right? Like actively
pull that pin. Throw the grenade.
Now, do I do this as a bomb? Do I Hiroshima the signs when I get them? Right? So do I just drop one big one?
Yeah.
Like go out there, bright noon sun sky, and just pop all 30 of them in that section of the yard? Or do I do a slow infiltration, like one or two here, and then 2 days later, 3 more?
You know what I like? Yeah. I like the idea of covertly swapping out their signs with signs that look similar but say different things to see if they'd notice.
So it's like the same color pattern.
Exactly. Right. I mean, all political signs are the same. It's the blue background with the red writing and the white whatever. That would be fun. See how long it takes. See how dedicated they really are to those candidates.
I've been riding in lieu of my calf injury that we discussed at length last week. Right?
How's that feeling, by the way?
Not great.
Still not great. So not good. So the video that will be posted on our social media by the time
if you're listening to this,
it didn't help.
It did not. Partial relief for a bit, but and I could still feel like when I do like a calf raise, right? Yeah. I could still feel tension in a spot in that area. So it simply has not gone away. So I've just been biking. So on my bike rides, I've seen there's signs everywhere, like to the point where I haven't seen this many signs for a national election in this area that I've seen for a primary for local elections in August. And I thought, I'm riding my bike. These things are at the end of the road. Just pop one up with it as I drive by it with my hand.
I think you need a flamethrower.
But we're in the Ring doorbell era of life, to the point where when I was a teenager, we'd drive around this town some evenings and like I forget what we call it, like snowman hunting. And would drive by slowly. Someone would jump out of the car and tackle a snowman and hop back in the car.
Right. You can't do that anymore.
You can't do that anymore.
That is...
And to the point where I don't want to be on one of those informed sites that I've been banned from. Saying, does anybody know this guy? He was riding his $89 Magna.
Right.
And he kicked my sign and whipped it into the main road.
He kicked my sign, but tore his ACL.
The video is 18 minutes long of him writhing on the ground, walking up a hill with his bike on one leg.
In hindsight, it's pretty easy to figure out who he is because he's still out there.
Sweating, and the ambulance isn't here yet.
Yeah.
Okay. I appreciate your support.
Yeah, man. Always in support of some of the things that you do.
Yeah, I am. This is going to happen. Something like this. It may not be 30, but the one is not enough.
I look forward to an update next week.
I can't wait. And also, next week, we're going to get to, you and I have to make concrete plans to run the 100-yard dash.
Sure do.
That we had been talking about in January as part of our quarter 1 feats of strength for the podcast. As we enter quarter 3, we're going to finally get to that.
Yeah. Happy quarter 3, by the way.
Stay tuned. I'd like to get some Razgoo the Italian Demon merch up.
Please go to @StephenKyle, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and see the video that we posted the other day, where you were hurting. You needed some recovery from your just intense training sessions.
That's right, 1.3 total miles. The calf strain is still not better. Okay. I took that thing home and tried it on Katie's legs. To the best, I couldn't. You'll see in the video. To the best of what I could replicate you doing to my leg, and I feel like I put like 30% force down. And she said, "What are you doing? That's way too hard." So
that's how it works.
And that's what I told her. I said, "This is how MD Steve told me how to do this."
Yeah. What does she know about medicine?
Yeah.
And
you're not going to get the relief you need if you don't let me put my entire body weight on your calf.
Again, that's @StephenKyle, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We will talk to you next week. Goodbye, Razgoo.